Hello everyone, my name is Dominic Dedetto and my dream career is to be an Italian teacher. As a young child, I have always been interested in my family background. I was always curious to know everything about my family history and realized early on my passion for my heritage and learning the native language of my descendants. Hearing all the old stories about my great-grandparents was always the most fascinating thing for me. I was so interested when my grandparents told me about the hardships their parents had to endure when coming over to this new country. They would tell me that their parents were poor and hungry, and for this reason, they were forced to leave as there was neither hope nor future for them in the south of Italy. Me being a young child, soaked all this information up like a big sponge, and I just kept building onto this big curiosity of mine. Going into high school, I decided to take my first Italian language course. I was so excited to finally be able to study Italian. In high school, however, I did not learn a lot because high school classes were generally a joke and my Italian teacher did not seem passionate to teach it. I remember receiving a scholarship and making it all the way to Italian honors knowing only the basics. At this point in my life, I didn't give up. I still had this immense desire for the language and took matters into my own hands. I decided to learn Italian by surfing the internet and making contacts in Italy. I bought several grammar books and programs for the computer, such as Rosetta Stone, and practiced speaking the language by Skyping with friends in Italy on a weekly basis. After learning the language with the desire to never stop learning, I realized that I wanted to be an Italian teacher. Being an Italian teacher is my ideal job because I have always been able to connect well with people. As teachers are always in the presence of many students, I feel like it would be the perfect and ideal environment for me. I can never just picture myself in a business where I have my own cubicle and am required to work for several hours sitting in a chair. I just can't do it. I'm not that type of person. I have to move around and socialize with people and talk about intellectual topics. Being my passion for learning the Italian language has been so big since I was young, there would be no better place to be than in the school system. Whenever people tell me about their past language classes in high school, I always get the same response. Most people tell me they remember basic words such as hello and goodbye, and that's it. I want to be that language teacher that actually taught the language in a fun and unique way. I always disliked teachers that just sat down and just handed out worksheets. I always said they got paid just to sit, and I just don't think that's right. I feel that with all the effort and time I put into this passion of mine, I can surely teach students as I went through the learning process practically on my own. I know the ineffective and effective ways to learning a language, and will teach in a way where students understand the importance of a language, but at the same time enjoy being in a class learning it. As I spent a lot of time talking with close friends in Italy on Skype, it will be no problem speaking Italian every day in a classroom. And in fact, I would love to do that for the rest of my life. Another reason I feel teaching would fit my personality is because I always wanted to make a difference in the world. I feel like being an educator is one of the most important figures society has to offer. Being an educator is literally right in the education system. They are the ones who serve as a model for young individuals working their way up the ranks. It's the teachers that are not passionate who are the ones who fail in having students understand the importance of their particular material. In my opinion, people who have a calling for a particular thing should follow that road. I know exactly what I'm getting into, and I am deciding to follow this next and necessary chapter in my life. I am sure I could find a job earning a much better salary. However, I wouldn't enjoy getting up in the morning, and for this reason, I am following what I have been doing my whole life. Besides learning the Italian language, one of my life's greatest achievements was learning the dialect from my great-grandparents' village and managing to obtain my family documents dating back to the 1800s. I joined a group dedicated to my family's town and managed to meet a bunch of people who taught me the dialect and traditions from this small town in Italy. When I finally had the opportunity to go to Italy this past summer, I went to the town, and the mayor, who heard about me learning the dialect, presented me with a plaque and a letter dedicated and written out to me and my family. I even made a presentation about this experience at Ramapo College because my Italian professors thought it was an amazing story to share and inspire other Italian Americans interested in their heritage. I feel like a story as unique as this really goes to show how much I take pride in the culture and language, and if I can show students this passion I have, I feel like I can serve as a good role model for them. When I become a teacher, I will not be the typical language professor that just teaches the grammar principles. I will make sure to speak the language in class so that students not only learn the grammar principles, but they will tune their ears to the language by hearing it every single day. Hearing the language constantly is one of the best methods in learning a language. I have tried to just learn the grammar and build up my vocabulary as much as possible, but when it comes down to learning it and being able to actually utilize it in the real world, speaking is by far the most effective method. Sadly, in high school, it was rarely spoken, and for this reason, only the few who had the interest kept up and actually cared about it. All the others just wanted to leave, and honestly, my goal is to not have an atmosphere like this. Rather than just giving basic worksheets and projects, I will make use of technology and incorporate different elements in the classroom, such as Skype, where I will talk with classes in Italy. I feel like this will catch the attention of students, as not only will they learn the language, but they can actually learn about the different culture just by talking to the native students that live there. Another goal of mine is for students to understand the importance of language in today's society. What many people fail in realizing is that languages are very important for the workforce. Oftentimes, people who speak a second language have the advantage over those that only know one. Languages open many doors in life, and with America being a melting pot, it is extremely useful to know a language other than English. One of my experiences as a student that also helped me in realizing my desire in becoming a teacher is when I tutored at PS28 in Patterson. Last year, I took an education course at Ramapo, and I was required to go and tutor a kindergarten class in Patterson. I went to the school so I can get some actual hands-on experience in the field. Going to PS28 really helped me to see and understand a different school environment. I read stories to the class and helped students in learning the alphabet along with its pronunciation. Even though this doesn't exactly pertain to Italy or the Italian language, it's the bond that I made with the students there that made me want to teach so much more. Going into Patterson, I knew that many students came from households with problems. I knew that many students did not come from most stable homes. When I taught them and realized I was actually making a difference in their lives, I always looked forward to going back. I could remember bringing in books and coloring worksheets for Halloween. I would read the scary tales with a funny voice that made the class laugh and pay attention to what was going on. When I finished reading the short stories, the teachers and I would stand up and put several sentences on the board pertaining to the story. We then asked for the students to identify certain letters and words, and they had to attempt to say it.